What is a wife entitled to in a divorce settlement? Divorce can feel overwhelming, but understanding your rights gives you solid ground. In the heart of a transformative period, wives in San Antonio need to know that the right facts can lead to a fair outcome. When you know what you are entitled to, you gain the confidence to move forward. Family Matters law firm PLLC notes that their team will listen to your concerns, explain your options, and stay with you from start to finish. Texas law classifies everything you own as either community property or separate property. Community property includes assets and debts gathered during the marriage, while separate property comprises what you owned before the wedding or received individually, such as gifts, inheritances, or personal injury settlements. Only community property can be divided in a divorce, separate property stays yours. Courts must divide community property in a just and right way, which means fair rather than equal. Judges look at factors like each spouse's earning potential, health, age, and the reasons for the breakup. They also consider fault, such as adultery or cruelty, and how long the marriage lasted. Documentation is key when protecting separate property. Records show when and how you acquired assets, and any increase in value remains the separate property of the owning spouse. A prenuptial agreement can override default rules if it is valid and enforceable. The direct answer to what a wife is entitled to in a divorce settlement depends on the facts of each case. Texas does not guarantee a wife half of everything simply based on the marriage's length. Instead, the law requires an equitable distribution of community property that acknowledges both parties' contributions and needs. A wife keeps her separate property and may seek spousal maintenance if she cannot meet her reasonable needs and if certain conditions apply. She may be eligible for spousal support if the marriage lasted at least 10 years and she lacks the ability to earn sufficient income, if she has a disability or cares for a child with a disability, or if her spouse was convicted of family violence within 2 years of filing for divorce. Duration of support depends on the length of the marriage. 5 years for marriages of 10 to 20 years, 7 years for 20 to 30 years, and up to 10 years for longer marriages. These guidelines can be shortened based on circumstances. A qualified family lawyer can help gather documentation and ensure proper classification. Spousal maintenance is not automatic. The spouse seeking it must show they lack sufficient property to meet their reasonable needs and meet one of the criteria above. Spousal support can be modified if there is a material change in circumstances. Texas law does not base spousal support on gender but on financial circumstances and needs. Child support and custody are determined by the child's best interests. The non-custodial parent pays support based on net resources, which include income from all sources minus deductions like taxes and health insurance. Texas law sets guideline percentages up to a cap: 20% of net resources for one child, 25% for two, and 30% for three. If monthly net resources exceed the cap, the court may order additional support based on proven needs. Custody, called conservatorship, depends on the child's physical and emotional needs, each parent's ability to care for the child, home stability, and any history of violence or substance abuse. A parenting plan must address conservatorship, visitation, and access. Parents are encouraged to work together, but courts will step in if they cannot reach agreement. Parents should seek guidance from an attorney to navigate these sensitive issues. Retirement accounts and pensions earned during the marriage are community property and subject to division. This includes 401ks, IRAs, stock options, and pensions. Accurate valuation may require financial professionals. A qualified domestic relations order, QDRO, is necessary to split retirement plans without tax penalties and must be approved by both the plan administrator and the court. Negotiating a fair division involves considering current and future values, tax implications, and each spouse's contributions. A wife may also claim Social Security benefits on an ex-spouse's record if the marriage lasted at least 10 years, she is at least 62, and she remains single. She can collect up to half of her ex-spouse's benefit without reducing his benefit, but remarriage usually ends this entitlement. Fault-based divorces require careful strategy. If you allege faults such as cruelty or adultery, collect evidence and consult a family law attorney who has experience with fault-based cases. Consider long-term financial planning rather than focusing solely on immediate emotions. Effective mediation involves thorough preparation, realistic goals, and choosing a mediator familiar with Texas family law. Litigation may be necessary when a spouse refuses to cooperate, when there is domestic abuse or substance abuse, or when complex financial matters or child custody disputes exist. In such cases, having a skilled lawyer to represent you in court is essential. Understanding what you are entitled to in a divorce settlement empowers you to make informed decisions. Texas law seeks fairness, not a simple 50-50 split, by considering factors such as earning potential, fault, and the needs of any children. Separate property remains protected, spousal support is carefully regulated, and child support depends on guidelines and the child's needs. Retirement assets and Social Security benefits are also important considerations. Throughout this process, working with a knowledgeable attorney helps ensure that your rights are protected and that each aspect of your settlement is aligned with state law. Family Matters law firm PLLC emphasizes compassion and resilience, drawing on personal experience and legal training to advocate for clients. To move forward with confidence, reach out to this law firm for guidance. For guidance tailored to your circumstances, contact Family Matters Law Firm PLLC at 926 Chulie Drive, San Antonio, Texas, 78216. The phone number is 210-997-2914. With a dedicated legal team ready to listen and explain your rights, you can pursue a settlement that respects your contributions and honors